actually right over here, as you see. We got a lovely work table here. We can go through cross countries. It's also a resource room, so we have our bookshelf with all of our materials needed, private, commercial, multi, instrument, weather, some POHs, and we got our charts. VFR sectionals, IFR sectionals, so on. We also have more of the lounge area over here, couch. We have people taking naps all the time. And then for our ground classes that we do offer, we will have them held here, held over Zoom, but people can join us, and we have a fold-out table in the back that we bring out instead of more classroom style. When we do that, we have the TV on. We can turn both those on for weather, different programs, and we have our whiteboards here for teaching as well. We use it as kind of a study room, teaching, lounge, whichever we really want to do, and whoever's needing what at what time. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, pretty comfortable up here.
Yeah.
It's nice too because when we have maintenance going on out here, it can be pretty loud. And so being able to close that door, have some air conditioning in the summer, and do our lessons. But yeah, then we come down here. This is our maintenance hangar. We have our aircraft right there. It's the Piper Aero 2203 Tango's pulled out, as well as the Debonair. And we'll also have other aircrafts in here, whichever aircraft is getting maintained at the time. So we'll do annuals, 100 hours, avionics, and much, much more. So between two Cherokees, the Debonair and the Aero, we also have two other aircrafts. We have a cruise, and then we're gonna have the Beech Sundowner coming online shortly as well. And then Baron is in the making as well for our multi-engine operations. So pretty good. We can do all the way up to, pretty much your multi-complex, high performance. If you want to get trained on different avionics, we have Avidyne, we have Garmin's, and whatever you need work on, flight reviews, IPCs. We don't do just training, we also do proficiency checks and stuff like that. Also, always coming by for a chat to talk with us is great. We got a lot of people here with a lot of different expertise and hours and different areas that they work on. What I'm looking for here is that they're nice and secure. You also want to see the 3 hinges, and step back here, we have the actuator. The actuator should move just with a little bit of pressure and rotate it between your fingers. We can come along to the ailerons. Ailerons, we're looking for freedom of movement, but also correct movement inside the cockpit. So when this aileron comes up, the controls should move towards us, and when it moves away, they should move away. Also, we can see through the window there, we see the aileron moving in the opposite direction. There we go. Looks good. We have the taxi light, the strobe, and we have the nav light here. The screws are all in. Any cracks have pressure holes. I put just about a finger's worth of fuel in it. Turn it sideways. Blue. There's no water. No debris floating around. Tire treading looks good. Strut between 3 to 4 fingers. There's no brake fluid. We can take just a real good look at the gear and the fuel. Right at 6, that's where I like to be. Come along to the front. Check the leading edges of the props, cracks, scratches. Remove the cowling covers. Make sure there's no bird nests. You can also reach our hand back in, feel the actuator. Make sure it's tight and any of the treading is still there. Everything looks good. Spinner, clear. Air intake. Tire treading looks good. Strut. That's gonna be more from 5 to 6 fingers. Cowling's on and secured. Right's good. That 1 finger full. 4 to 5 right there. Not too bad. Treading's here. And then fuel vent line. That is clear as well. Blue, no bubbles. Set back in. And tie down can be removed. So ram air, static air, and drain hole. Once again, we're looking to make sure no bugs have come in. Everything looks good there. Always hold here, and then you can feel for the actuator. But you never just want to trust it. There you go. Flap though, same thing. Your antennas, what we're looking for is that they're secured on. We also want to make sure there's no bug buildups. Those bug buildups can actually be a really easy way for you to lose communications or transponders. A lot of people, like, one time someone came in having transponder issues, went out, cleaned it, no issues. Can be an easy fix sometimes. Elevator, stabulator, really. You look for movement. The trim tab comes at a greater angle up than it does at a lower angle. So you can see it's more acute this way and more obtuse going up. It moves very freely. They just grease the controls, so it feels amazing. Rudder. It always says do not push, but I always tell my students just take 2 fingers or 1 finger and make sure there's still tension. You don't want to move it because it's connected to the wheels for taxiing, but you still want to make sure the spring hasn't previously broke. Rudder's very, very crucial for flight. Come down for tie downs, remove it, toss it out of the way, and I look inside. Birds love making nests back here, and it is the springtime. So all those birds and bugs, we really do want to check for them. And we do a final walk around. Final walk around is where you can take the opportunity to take a step back of the aircraft, make sure there's no huge things that we haven't noted, because when we do a typical walk around, we're 2 inches from the thing, and sometimes we can lose the bigger picture. Make sure there's no dents on the wings, nothing on the cowling. You'd see now if the plane was sitting at a funny angle because one of the struts had collapsed or something like that. It looks good. So as far as the safety briefing, getting inside and outside of these aircrafts goes, once again, do not trust these flaps on any aircraft, but Pipers really don't. You want to step on the hand, on the foothold here, grab the hand hold up here, and just swing your leg on over. Easy enough. Pipers do have 2 holds, so if this is in the locked position, it'll be facing towards the tail, and this will just be laid flat. To open it, you just want to unlock it towards the wing, pull here, and it should just come right on open. You can go ahead and open it, and you'd be able to climb right back into your seat. You'll be on the right side today, and to bring yourself forward, just lift underneath and scoot forward. In the case of an emergency, what you're going to do is, just as I mentioned, I'll give you instructions as we go along, of course, in the emergency, but you're going to unlock the door and unlatch it. Make sure this is open. You don't need to hold it open. Just let it flow open. And you're going to keep your arms, feet back. If I ask you to do something and you're unable, just let me know. There's no pressure there, but I may hand some tasks. Seatbelts, harnesses, they should be worn at all times during the flight today. Mainly taxi, takeoff, landing. I always tell people keep them on at all times. As far as sterile cockpits go, what I find tends to work best, if I have to talk to someone or someone has to talk to me, something like that, I put my hand up, we stop the conversation. When the hand comes down, we can continue the conversation, stuff like that. Or I'll let you know, hey, let's stop the conversation until I tell otherwise, if it's really busy. Do you have any questions or concerns in today's flight?
No, ma'am.
Excellent.
This is Carmelo with the Aero Experience, and today we're flying with
Ann McLoughlin. I'm with Gateway Flight Training.
All right, let's go.
Excellent.
Thanks.
Transponder will stay on 1200 today for VFR flight. ADS-B on position. There we go. Radio test. Radio test, we're good. I tend to not give a radio test unless I actually find the need to do it. Taxi lights is required. The strobes and rotating beacon are on. Brakes test. So I'm going to go ahead, place those brakes. Brake test complete. Attitude indicator. It is erect and level. That looks good. Turn coordinator. We'll test that on the go. Make a right turn. It should move to the right, and the rudder should move to the left. Turn coordinator. HI to compass. We're getting roughly a 075 right there. I'll go ahead and turn us to a 075. Creve Coeur traffic. Piper Cherokee 2203 Tangos. Taxiing runway 34 via taxiway. Creve Coeur. There we go. Creve Coeur traffic, Piper Cherokee 2203 Tango. Take off runway 34, and we'll be departing to the northwest. Creve Coeur traffic. Airspeed's alive.
This is Carmelo with the Aero Experience, and today we're flying with
Ann McLoughlin with Gateway Flight Training.
And thank you very much for having us up today.
Thank you for having me.
We are flying over the northwest of the airport, correct? Over the river a little bit.
Yeah.
We're just going to fly around and talk and get to know Ann a little bit better. Where are you from, Ann? Are you from this part of the country, or?
I am, yeah. I moved around a little bit here and there. I've done some flight training elsewhere, but for the most part, just Midwest St. Louis.
Cool. So obviously you're interested in aviation. You are a CFII.
Yes, I am.
So how did that start? What's kind of the first memory of getting into aviation somehow?
I mean, well, my dad's a pilot for American Airlines, and so I was always surrounded by aviation, and not really just, you know, aviation in regards to the airlines, but also general aviation. My dad, he did, different aerobatic flying, and he used to own a Stearman before me and my brother were born. And we have some friends who fly up in Alaska, and they have float planes and stuff, so we'd go and visit them and kind of join that general aviation world. And I've always loved it. I mean, just as anyone who, the aviation bug bites you and it's fun, I don't see how it doesn't bite everyone.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So what was your first flight? Was it with your father, or is it someone else?
It's a good question. I was thinking about that, and I've been flying for so long, it's really hard to remember the first one. I was probably too little to remember.
Sure.
The first really notable one, though, I will say, is, once again, those friends I mentioned, they live up in Juneau, and I remember we took, it was Cessna on floats, and they had a cabin up there, and yeah, we took a float plane just right into this cabin in the middle of nowhere, did some camping out there, and gosh, I had such a good time.
I'm sure, wow.
Yeah, no, it was
exciting.
a great opportunity, and I absolutely love it out there. It's, epitome of flying.
In Alaska, a plane's just like a car over there.
Exactly, yeah, you got these houses in the middle of nowhere, and you're getting in via boat or plane.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, so definitely the first notable one that I can really remember. I believe I was probably 8 years old for that one.
Wow. Cool. So what did you decide, well, I want to do this professionally and go into pilot training?
Yeah, it was actually right after high school. I really never considered it an option, even though I grew up surrounded by aviation and being definitely a part of it, going to air shows and stuff growing up. I just never considered it for myself, and then I didn't know what I wanted to do yet. I was considering colleges, and then my dad actually mentioned it. He's like, why don't you do an intro flight? And I was like, oh, I never thought about that. What an interesting idea.
Sure.
And I did an intro flight, and I was like, man, oh man, this is for me. So yeah, I ended up taking a plane out with kind of a friend of ours again, and really started looking at, well, this is fun. I would love to do this.
So how'd you go through your flight training? Was it a little at a time, or did you go through a whole course, or how did that work for you?
I did it Part 61, and I did it, most of it in the St. Louis area. I started out my private in the St. Louis area, and my dad, he owns a Beechcraft Sundowner, and so we were able to get instructors in the St. Louis area to instruct me out. So very fortunate in that aspect, and it was a lot of fun. It took me some time because the Sundowner did go down for maintenance for 2 months. That is the one issue. If you we're relying on one aircraft,
right.
Expect those maintenances to really get you.
Sure.
And so I ended up joining the St. Louis Aviators Flight Club for my instrument, because that did delay me a while for my private.
Okay.
And I got my instrument rating in there, Archer. And then, yeah, I've done some 61 programs through 141 schools, such as my CFII and II. I did it through a 141 run program, but they had Part 61 operations still. And I also did my multi and through them as well.
Nice.
And that was in Florida and in Texas.
Excellent.
And then I did get my seaplane in Seattle because I had to.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. So are you seaplane on floats or a whole type seaplane?
So
or
seaplane on floats, it's not really specified. Seaplanes is really interesting because they don't have too much specified with it. In fact, me having my instructor's license, I'm actually able to instruct on floats.
Okay.
Now would I jump in a seaplane and start instructing someone with only 10 hours of floats? Probably not.
Yeah.
But yeah, the license, it does allow me to. And the one I flew in, it was a 172 on floats and also a carbon cub on floats.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would you need to be a good student in a float plane? What kind of background or?
To be a good student?
Yeah, to start out.
I mean,
what do you bring to the table before you even get in the aircraft?
A tail wheel is very transferable to seaplanes.
Okay.
If you have a lot of tail wheel time, it's gonna be pretty easy because there's this thing, it's getting on step in order to take off. And it's very similar when you see a tail wheel plane, take off, they're gonna lift that back end up. And that's really what you're doing in a seaplane as well. So people compare seaplanes a lot to tail wheel aircrafts. And so if you have a lot of tail wheel time, it's gonna be pretty transferable.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of seaplanes or aircraft on floats are tailwheel aircraft. Like
the Cubs,
and the 185s and some of those bigger airplanes still. They're tail draggers.
They are.
And it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so stick control and everything. So yeah, if you do your training in, those tail draggers, you're going to be just fine.
Wow, that's great. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. Seaplanes really, really do have my heart. I love instructing, and ultimately I want to go instruct seaplanes. Naturally, as I mentioned, I need to get some more time in seaplanes before I'm like, all right, let's go instruct them.
Right.
But I would love to instruct seaplanes and continue that. I'm not really planning airlines as of yet. Much to the dismay of my father.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone. I do agree with that. I love the airlines. I think they're amazing. And it's a very, very great goal for many people to have. I personally love instructing. I love general aviation. I see myself more so, eventually instructing seaplanes. Maybe there's, a company out in the Northwest and they do instruction of seaplanes, and it'll eventually move you on to the beavers and otters for more of their transportation line of things. Up in Canada, Alaska, and so on. And Alaska, as I mentioned, I've done a few flights up there in Alaska with my friends, and it steals your heart. You go up there and you're just like, this is my future. I could have no other future but this one. So,
it sounds really exciting.
Yeah, general aviation in Alaska, I'd love to do.
So now you're how long have you been with Gateway flight training?
I've actually only been with Gateway since October, late October.
Yeah.
So a few months now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got my instructor's license in October, and then I started poking my head around, and I knew of Gateway because my dad's aircraft, the Sundowner, has gone previous work done by them, and so I'm familiar with their team, and I really liked the people there. They are so kind and so understanding, and they really have everyone's best interests in mind. And so I'd already understood that school, and I wanted to go to a work environment that put the students first, wasn't trying to do this or that, and I wanted to go somewhere that was going to be a great place and be proud to work at.
Yeah, there's such a depth of experience in there.
It really is.
Instructors, and they take really good care of their aircraft, and
exactly.
You can have confidence when you go up, and like we are now.
Yeah, having maintenance on site too is just such a huge benefit, because you're able to, if I go out to the plane and I'm just like, you know what, that's just a little different than what I'm used to, maybe those flap settings just aren't feeling the way they usually feel, and I want some confirmation for maintenance on it just for, the safety of flight. I'll go ahead and go in, grab Steve or Tony. They're great. They'll come out with me. They're super patient because I do ask lots of questions, and they'll even explain it further to where I have a better understanding and knowledge. And it's a great company to grow at. Everyone's there to teach you, and because aviation, as anyone in it knows, it's a constant learning experience. You never know everything.
Exactly. Looks fine.
Yeah, we got Garmin 430, transponder mode C, of course, as we're operating the class mode C Vail. And as far as the instruments go, they're very straightforward. We got our nav aids right here. We got nav 1 and nav 2. Standard 6-pack, attitude indicator, airspeed, altimeter, VSI. Then we got our heading indicator, magnetic compass, and turn coordinator. Everything's very straightforward in this aircraft, and it's really great to take students from this level and go upward. It's a lot harder to take an instrument student who's had all previous knowledge done on, those instrument panels and bring him to a steam gauges. It's a lot easier to take a steam gauge student and put him on an instrument. It'll take a second, but understanding the pitot-static system, everything like that, and the newer aircrafts, they're great. I love them. But I did want to teach students how to fly on these gauges.
Right.
Especially my instrument students, I just think it's such a benefit to them because there's a lot of reliance on electronics now, which unfortunately can cause some complacency.
Absolutely.
And complacency just leads to some dangerous situations possibly coming about. I have a wide range of students. I have some just out of high school, some in college still, that are kind of wanting to do a program just over the summer before they go back to college to kind of cut that cost.
Sure.
Of going to the 141s, you know, sometimes they'll go to a 61 in the summer just to get the private done and then start back up.
Okay.
And then I have some people who are just like, you know what, let's do a career switch. I'm going to be a pilot. One of my students, gosh, she's great. She was a gate agent for Delta, and she said she would just see the pilots walking by, and she just thought to herself, I could do that.
Sure.
So yeah, she's great, and you know, so I have some of them, and then I also have people who are going through retirement, and they're like, you know what, I would love to do this. I'd love to have a pilot's license, maybe join a flight club, be able to take my family, fly around, something along those lines. I have the whole bag.
So it's a lot of different motivations.
Yeah, very different
for
motivations.
Times of life.
Yeah. Coming out and, you know, really putting themselves out there. There's so many clubs too. I personally am part of WAI, the 99s, and they're both great clubs, and there's, you know, hundreds more, and they're all out there to help you with scholarships and finding a community within the aviation community that can suit your needs even more than just the aviation community, finding that sector for you. And then, yeah, just becoming a mentor for others, and look for mentors yourself. Heck, stop by at Gateway Flight Training. Come say hi. I'm social, I love talking. I'm one of those people that will talk forever about aviation once you start opening up a conversation. Feel free to reach out to me and really anyone at Gateway. We're all there because we have that passion, and we all love instructing. It's a great opportunity, and it's a great privilege to teach, and to teach flying alone. It's really such a great time, and we'd love to see you stop by. Another thing we actually just had that I'll throw out there, we opened up our resource room upstairs. So it's a pilot resource room, and also it's a pilot lounge. People are able to come in, take a break. We got coffee and water. Come in, talk to us, talk to the maintenance, talk to the flight instructors, use our resource books. We have everything from private, instrument, commercial, multi, rotorcraft, really anything you can think of. And you're able to use all those resources we have up there at no cost, and use that lounge room to take a break. So if you find yourself at Creve Coeur, do stop by our hangar and come say hi, stay for a chat, and, you know, someone will be there to speak with you. As you know,
Absolutely.
you stopped by.
They're kind of probably sick of me by now.
Yeah, good.
Like, always popping in there. Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, exactly. We're always there, and, you know.
Always extremely friendly and helpful.
Good, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, once again, it's why I chose to work there. It's always a good time, and people are always so friendly. Creve Coeur traffic, 2203 Tangos, base 34, Creve Coeur. Alright, 80 on the airspeed.
I mean, sight. Drew's better.
There we go. Clear. And we got the guy on the upwind in sight. Creve Coeur traffic, 2203 Tangos, final 34, Creve Coeur.
Creve Coeur traffic, 7 Alpha, base 34, Creve Coeur. 24, Skyhawk 16 uniform, is turn in right, left crosswind, 34, Creve Coeur. Creve Coeur traffic, 7 Alpha, final 34, Creve Coeur.
Alrighty.
Right on center. Nice job.
Thank you. Creve Coeur traffic, 2203 Tangos, clear of runway 34, Creve Coeur. Everyone's out. Great. All right, avionics coming off.